So today we're working on our 2006 Toyota Corolla, and here we have back probed the signal from the ECM that actually tells the ignition coil to ignite, and then we have the cam position sensor back probe down here, and then also right here we have our crank position sensor back probe. We have all of our leads on the negative, and then these are the waveforms that we're looking. So from there, we are going to look for the igniter IGT signal from the ECM to the igniter. So we're going to look for a signal that's like that. And since we only have one of the cylinders back probe, we're only going to get one about every 4. So, and then next we have the camshaft position sensor, and that's what it's supposed to look like on our Pico scope. And then here we have the crankshaft position sensor. And so we have the crankshaft position sensor is green. And then we have the camshaft position sensor, which is red. And then we have the signal from the ECM to the igniter, which is blue. So now I'm going to have Patrick turn the car on. And we can watch. And we're going to pause this right here. So with this pause, we're going to take a look. We're going to check our igniter signal. We're going to come down to the computer. And we're going to see that our igniter signal is what we're looking for. And now we're going to come up to the camshaft position sensor. This is what we're supposed to get, and then we're going to get a missing tooth. So we have the 3 and then a missing tooth. So that's what we have there. And then for the crankshaft position sensor, we're getting exactly what we're supposed to. So now we're going to show what happens when the car gets revved up. Today we're working on the 2014 Hyundai Tucson here, and we have a bad ECT connector. It's reading from -40 to max if we wiggle it, and we can tell this by when it was plugged in here. I could wiggle it around. It's plugged in down here, but now we're gonna test it here with our pin tester, and we're gonna put that one in. That one goes in nice and fair. It's pretty hard to pull out. Let me stick it in this one. It goes in nice and easy. This side is going to be our problem. We've taken out the centerpiece here, and now we're going to try to get the pins out.
Today we're working on the 2020 GMC Arcadia. We had it hooked up to the Pico scope right here, and we were having a couple of problems trying to get a good signal. After doing some diagnosis, we found out that we actually had a bad ground. Whenever we hooked it up to the battery, somehow the ground didn't work well. After going through all of that, whenever we put it on a different ground, we finally got a good signal and a good wavelength.
So we'll move this right there.
And once you see we put it on a new ground, we get a much better looking wavelength.
Today we're going to be running some vacuum and voltage tests on our 2020 GMC Acadia. So we have our vacuum gauge hooked up here to our purge valve for the fuel tank system. And we have that hooked up here. And then I have my multimeter that I'm going to hook up to the map sensor, which is right down here. Alright, Patrick, you can turn the car on. So now that we have the car running, we're reading about 18. It drops for a quick second here, and then it'll come back up. So we're reading about 17 to 18 on the vacuum. So now we're going to read voltage. So I'm going to ground it here and read voltage. And at about 18, I'd say about 18, we're getting roughly 2.5 volts here.
Now we're working on a 2007 Buick Lucerne with a 3.8 liter V6. We were working on the crankshaft position sensor and the camshaft position sensor. And they're both Hall effect sensors because they have 3 wires. We've got that diagram here. We looked it up on ALLDATA, and now we've got it hooked up to the Pico scope, and we're gonna look at. We've got the crank position sensor 2 and 1, and the cam position sensor, and that's what we've got on here. So now we're going to start the car and watch how it looks. So now when we pause it, we'll be able to see After counting the green waves, we can see that there's exactly 36 between there and there. So that means that each tooth on the reluctor wheel is 10 degrees apart. Alright, here you can see we took a screenshot of the engine at 3,000 RPMs. You can see that the crankshaft position sensor number 2, which is the red one, has 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large, so that it'll tell you placement wise where it's at. And now we're going to rev the engine and we can watch the graph for the picoscope. As he revs the engine, you can see that the amplitude just stays the same, but the wavelengths get much shorter and closer together.